Hey guys, it's JaaackJack and welcome back to my channel and welcome to a plan with me video in my bullet journal. It's been a hot minute, but the truth is I really haven't been utilizing my planner, and that's just how the seasons go sometimes. But before we get started, I have to show off my nails. Not that these are like amazing or anything, but this is the longest I've ever grown out my natural nails. Like, isn't this so wild? It's still wild for me to see. I normally keep my nails super short, but lately I've been just in the mood to have a little more feminine looking nails, and I'm kind of liking it. Again, this color is ugly, and that's okay, but loving the long nails right now. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into today's plan with me. So we're going to be doing the month of November, and I'm going to show you how I do this like fun and easy plaid design. And if you look closely, you can definitely see that my lines aren't straight, and that's okay because you still get a really cool effect. So I'm going to show you on this side. I actually set up the entire month. Let me know what you think of this kind of style of plan with me videos. I feel like it'll just be a lot faster because I did worry that a lot of my plan with me videos were starting to get repetitive. So I figured I'll do majority of it and save one page to decorate on camera with you guys. So for this page, it's going to be my goals page, and the idea I have is to do the plaid detail in the background of this page and then use this little envelope to write down my goals. I did something similar to this for the month of February, but with this one, I basically drew the background part of the envelope onto the page, and the only part I glued on was this little pocket here, and I just glued the perimeter so that way I can stick a piece of paper in it, and it was like this little pocket. So that's how I did it back in February, but this time around I actually just drew it all on a separate piece of paper, and then I made a slit, and I actually messed up. I made the slit in the wrong spot. So I thought, for some reason, I thought the slit was supposed to be at the top and my paper would go through there, but then I realized, oh no, I'm dumb. It's supposed to be like this awkward U shape right here that is supposed to be the slit. So instead of redrawing this, I decided to continue to use this same paper because once I put the little lined paper in, you can't even see this second slit that I made, or that first slit that I made on accident. So it all worked out. And for the little piece of paper inside, it's actually just a blank piece of construction paper, and I very lightly drew blue lines all the way across with a ruler and a colored pencil, and then a red line on the side and 3 circles. So it looked like a mini lined piece of paper, and I actually love how it turned out, but that was actually super easy to do. And then we'll just fill in our goals for the month and put that in there. And then when I do glue this, I'm gluing all that and then just the perimeter right here. So we'll get to that later, but first we need to actually draw the background for this page, which is this plaid detailing. So you're going to need 2 separate colors. Your main color, for me, it's going to be this orange color right here from Recollections. I will leave a link down below for these pens. And then you want to have an accent color, and for me, that's going to be brown. So what's fun about this design is you can pick any 2 colors you want and make it appropriate for any month you want. I was already thinking how like you could do red and green for Christmas, or like blue and purple together. Like there's an endless amount of combination of colors you could do, but for November I just feel like orange and brown are the most appropriate. So now to start this design, you want to make a box, a perimeter for this design, and I want to leave a little bit of space on the outside because, as you can see on the next page, we do want to have this like scallop detailing, so you want a little bit of space for that. But basically just make a square or rectangle, just map out where you want your design to be filled in. And so that's pretty easy. You can absolutely use a ruler when creating this, but number 1, I found it a lot faster to not use a ruler, and number 2, even with really shaky lines like mine, the design still looks good overall. So I think it's something you don't have to like fuss with too much. So now we have our rectangle, our perimeter, and I'm going to zoom you in so I can show you what we're going to do next. So now that we're nice and zoomed in, you can kind of see the dots a little bit better. We're going to skip 1 dot and then draw a line down. So skip a dot and then draw a line down. So we're going to continue doing that all throughout our perimeter box that we made. And one thing I like about these particular pens is if you were to like draw it straight like this, you would have a really fine line. But what I like doing is kind of holding it a little bit on its side, so then the line that we're drawing is a lot fatter, and it also makes it easier to just draw these lines. Again, they're not perfect. You can absolutely use a ruler, but even without a ruler and with the shaky lines that I have, it still turned out really great. So now I'm going to zoom you in to show you what the next step is. So again, we're going to skip a dot and then draw a horizontal line all the way across. So skip a dot and then draw all the way across. So really, when you look at it, we have all of these boxes that we're making. So I'm just going to continue drawing those lines all the way down. So now we're done with our main color. Well, until we do the little scallop detailings at the end. But as far as like the lines go, we are done with the main color, and now it is time to add in the accent color, which again, we're using brown for the month of November. So the easiest way for me to look at this, because I know it's a little overwhelming with all of these lines now, but I will look at one box and skip that box and draw a line down and just alternate skipping boxes like so. So far so good, right? With the difficult level of making this plaid detailing, like it's not too difficult. And now I'm going to zoom you in to show you what the next step is. So we have the vertical lines, and for the horizontal lines, we're basically doing the same thing. We are going to skip a box and then draw a line. Skip a box and then draw a line. I know this part gets a little confusing because there's so many different lines now, but you'll get the hang of it and you'll kind of see this plaid detailing finally come together. You can even see some of my mess ups at how badly I just cannot draw a straight line. I'm so bad at it, but you can still see like this pattern. You still get the same very fall cozy effect, and I love how it turned out, crooked lines and all. So now we're going to go back to our main orange color, and I'm doing the scallop detailing on the edges, and it's really just making these half circles all the way across. I am using the dots at the top to basically just as a guide for how wide these little half circles or the arches that I'm making. So I'm doing that all along the page. And one thing that I do once I come together in the corner, I feel like it looks kind of empty and awkward. So I'll do like one more little arch just to like complete it in my eyes. Like it just looks a little bare and empty without that. So that's why I add that additional little arch. And you just continue doing that all the way around the page. And I think it's such a nice little dainty detail, but it adds a lot to the page. The last thing I'm going to do is grab my regular ballpoint pen, and I'm going to outline that perimeter square, like the very beginning square or rectangle that we made in the beginning. I'm just going to draw over that to kind of emphasize the perimeter, but kind of looking at it now, I think this is a very unnecessary detail, so you can actually skip this step if you wanted to. And that's how you make this plaid detailing in your planner. Let me know what you guys thought. Is this something you would try out? And now for the fun part, I am going to grab my glue stick and glue this whole part and then just the perimeter of the bottom part. And we'll glue this in for our goals for the month. I am so excited. I love like the fun artsy parts of my planner. They just make me so happy. And don't mind this, I just found this random hair clip from my purse, so I'm using that to add the glue around the perimeter of the bottom part here. So we're just going to glue that down into place, and then we can add our little piece of paper into that little slit and that pocket that we created. And I'm so happy with how it turned out. Now let me show you how I set up the rest of the month of November. So here's what the monthly page looks like. As you can see, we have that same plaid detailing in the background, and I just love how festive it feels for the month of November. And then for November 2025, I just cut that off of like regular piece of paper, so that way it didn't compete too much with the background and you didn't see the lines with the wording, if that makes sense. So it has like this white background to help it stand out a little bit more. And then also another detail with the month of November, I think this is the first month I've ever done where all of the boxes are actually touching. I know that's such a funny detail, but I normally keep spaces in between all of the boxes, but for this month I didn't, and it was actually a lot easier to draw and create. So I might do more of this kind of monthly spread moving forward. I already went ahead and started filling in the month with like my bills, events, and uploads that I want to do. These are the uploads I plan for the month. If I don't get around to them, you can keep me accountable, leave me comments, but this is what I'm hoping to upload on my main channel for the month of November. And lastly, let me show you how I set up the weekly pages. So for this first one, I did these vertical columns, and then Sunday kind of got this weird horizontal box at the bottom. And it meant that there would be a gap on the left side of my page. And so I tried to write November, but it looked so ugly. So I used whiteout, and then I just cut out this little fall, little squirrel with the leaves. And I just put that there because I just needed something to cover that awkward spot. And then for the following week, we have regular columns here and half boxes for Saturday and Sunday. And I was just using the same like orange throughout all of the weeks just to keep it easy and cohesive with everything. And then next we have the boxes, and then with this particular spread you have the 7 boxes for the week, and then there's a space for another box, and I decided to just add more of that plaid detailing just to incorporate it into the spread a little bit more. And I feel like without that scallop detailing, it doesn't look as cute and cozy. Like, anybody else see what I'm seeing? But yeah, this one has just these square boxes, and then I always have to include a spread that is like very reminiscent of like my Erin Condren planner in the old days. So we have the vertical boxes. So there's 3 boxes for morning, afternoon, and evening plans, and then Saturday and Sunday. And then for the last week of November, I decided to do the same thing that I did with the first week with these like shorter columns, and I added this little fox, and then I wrote November, and I think this turned out way cuter. So I'm excited to use these spreads for the month of November. Let me know what you guys think and if you would try out this spread in your own planner. And also please let me know what you think of this style of plan with me, where it's kind of just a walkthrough of how I set it up, but I'll decorate one page with you. I feel like that'll be more fun and interesting to watch and not so repetitive with me drawing the same like vertical columns every single week. You know what I mean? Anyways, that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!